To our professor, Dr. Machetti, good morning, ma. To my co-masterants, good morning to each and everyone. By the way, I am Virginia Labitania from Bu Dubai, Bohol, one of the reporters this morning. This morning, I will tackle about the elements of effective instructional supervision. But before that, let's define first what is an element. When I say elements, it is a part or aspect of something abstract, especially one that is essential or characteristic. Or in short, elements is a basic part of a whole. So there are elements of effective instructional supervision. It outlines 5 intertwined elements of instruction practice that complement and enhance one another. When integrated into learning experiences, these elements foster student engagement with the ultimate goal of improving student outcomes and achievement. So this framework is grounded in the understanding that students are more interested and invested in their learning when they feel safe in their learning environment, understand what they are learning and why it matters, to have opportunities to practice, receive clear feedback on their work, and engage in complex, meaningful students. So this framework supports educators to design and facilitate learning experiences that reflect the 5 elements of effective instructional supervision and incorporate the corresponding key traits. So while applying the key traits is critical, a demonstrated commitment to each element supporting beliefs is a necessary foundation for fostering a student ownership of a learning and ensuring equitable outcomes for all the students. So the first element is the learning environment. So the learning environment supports all students to take risks, ask questions, and make and learn from mistakes. The physical space, routines, and procedures, and development of positive relationships create a physically, socially, and emotionally unsafe environment. So a learning environment is more than just a classroom. It's a space in which students feel safe and supported in their pursuit of knowledge, as well as inspired by their surroundings. So a learning environment can be defined as an area that provides opportunities for students to learn through many different methods, including the lectures, the seminars, the discussions, and hands-on activities. So there are supporting beliefs regarding the elements, which is the learning environment. First is the learning environment is a shared domain between students, teachers, families, and other partners. Positive and meaningful relationships are the foundation of a productive learning culture. Then the last is safety and respect are vital to engagement and risk-taking. So, an experience in which one feels safe to express the emotions, the security, and the confidence to take risks and feel challenged and excited to try something new. So, feeling safe and valued is a vital to a child's development. So in a healthy, supportive climate, students are engaged and take intellectual risk. Relationships are powerful. Our one-to-one connections with each other are the foundation for change, and building relationship with people from different cultures. Often many different cultures is key in building diverse communities that are powerful enough to achieve significant goals. Next is the physical space and routines, the key traits. First is clear, consistent, and respectful routines, procedures, and expectations are collaboratively established. Students know what is expected, when, and why. Then tools and materials are readily available to students. The learning environment can be configured in different ways to best fit the task at hand. Students are empowered to use and move around the learning environment in which that support their learning. So, both classroom rules and procedures must be clearly explained, practiced regularly, and are only successful with consistency. So resource materials allow learners to have practical experiences which help them develop skills and concepts and to work in a variety of ways. So the structuring of the learning environment is essential for teachers and students. So the physical arrangement of the classroom can affect both student and teacher behavior. And a well-structured classroom management plan of design has the ability to improve learning and behavior. Next, relationships and culture. First, teachers, students, and families established and maintain positive relationship. So strong relationship with teachers and school staff can dramatically enhance students' level of motivation and therefore promote learning. Students who have access to more strong relationship are more academically engaged, have stronger social skills, and experience more positive behavior. Next is families are included and engaged in a variety of ways to promote student learning. So when parents are involved in their children's education, children are more likely to do well in school and have a better social and emotional development. Parental involvement improves student achievement, the self-esteem and behavior. It also helps to build strong relationship between parents and their child's school. The third one is all students feel safe to take risk and participate. So spend time getting to know their students' social identities as well as their strengths and needs using a varied toolkit method. For example, teachers might use regular check-ins, class meetings, conferencing, close observations of students and their work, and connections of families. So positive student relationships are fundamental to success. So students are supported in building productive relationships with a variety of classmates across differences. So when students feel supported, they were more likely to engage in learning and have better academic outcomes. Plus, when students have positive interactions with teachers, they have fewer behavioral problems. So students collaborate with each other throughout the learning process. So through collaboration, pupils may develop explanation, demonstration, problem solving, and metacognitive skills. Or pupils may benefit from sharing the load of challenging tasks. Then the last is making multiple attempts and mistakes is expected, accepted, and used as a foundation for further learning. By getting things wrong, you'll improve your skills and grow in various ways. So if you're learning, you won't go wrong. It's important to be willing to make mistakes. So the worst thing that can happen is you become memorable. The next elements for effective instructional supervision is clear, shared outcomes. The learning outcomes are shared and internalized by teachers and students. These outcomes anchor and guide the choices of instructional activities, materials, practice assignments, and assessment tasks. Outcomes are understood and used by students to set goals, guide learning, and prompt self-reflection. So learning outcomes help faculty and students come to a common understanding about the purpose and goals of a course or academic program. So by improving clear and comprehensive learning outcomes, faculty begin to provide a transparent pathway for student success. So the learning outcomes are shared and understood by teachers and students. So these outcomes are used as an anchor to guide the choice of instructional activities, the materials, practice assignments, and assessment tasks. So these outcomes are understood by students and used to prompt self-reflection and goal setting. Next is the supporting beliefs regarding the clear shared outcomes. First is everyone involved in the learning process must know where they are going, and why the work matters. So engaging the students in the learning process increases their attention and focus and motivates them to engage in higher level critical thinking. So there are six interactive components of the learning process: the attention, the memory, the language processing and organizing, motor, and the higher order thinking skills. So these processes interact not only with each other but also with emotions, classroom climate, the behavior, social skills, teachers, and the family. So teachers and students need to be invested in the learning process to achieve outcomes. So school and teachers can influence the extent and quality of learning for all students. Teachers believe the practices and attitudes are important for understanding and improving educational process. So they are closely likely to teachers strategies for coping with challenges in their daily professional life. And the lesson is a culture of reflection is necessary for students to set and adjust personalized goals. So by setting goals and engaging in self-reflection, students will learn strategies to regulate their behavior, concentrate on work, and work more successfully. So reflecting on your progress gives you a sense of purpose, especially once your goal is achieved, as they leads it to happiness and productivity. So learning from unachieved goals means identifying the gap between where you are and where you want to be. Next is the key traits regarding the clear shared outcomes. The first one is learning outcomes are clear, both long-term, which are the graduation standards and performance indicators, and short-term, the learning targets. So learning goals and objectives generally describe what an instructor, the program, or institution aims to do, whereas a learning outcome describes in observable and measurable terms what a student is able to do as a result of completing a learning experience. Next is clear description of what success looks like are established and shared. So how do you define success? Define success as a big impact on your goals and your life. It drives the decisions that you make and reflects what you value. Instead of thinking of success as an outward appearance, defining what success is in your life is much more about knowing what is most important to you. Materials, activities, and assessment tasks are selected by teachers and students to align with the learning outcomes. So building alignment between assessment and learning outcomes also allows you to develop the communicate the pathway for students' learning progression. So it enables you to explain what knowledge and skills were expected to enter to the course and the knowledge and skills that will be developed throughout the course. Next is students can explain how tasks and experiences align to learning outcomes. So this helps ensure teaching and learning activities enable students to develop the knowledge and skills in the learning outcomes and prepare for formal assessment. Next is students use standards and learning targets to reflect on their own progress and set goals for growth. So learning targets ensure that students know what they are supposed to learn during the lesson without a clear learning target. So students are left guessing what they are expected to learn and what their teacher will accept as evidence of success. Next element is the varied content, materials, and methods of instruction. So students explore ideas and information in varied ways and access learning through multiple entry points. So teachers select content and materials to engage and meet the needs of all the learners. So instructional materials are used in classes because of the following advantages. Advantages they provide to take away some of the monotony in the class and offer content that makes students stop and take notice. They arouse curiosity and make the child want to know and learn more. So variety ensures that students are never bored. It also ensures that students will likely to be exposed to strategies that align with their preferred individualized style, the learning style. Students will enjoy being taught with a variety of instructional strategies and are likely to stay and engage longer. The first supporting belief is selected content must foster and reflect an understanding of multiple perspective critical issues and the diversity of our world. So key concepts help develop understanding. In this way, awareness-based concepts can help deepen learners' knowledge and understanding. Of course, learners should also be able to apply the skills that are needed to work successfully within a discipline. Learners must see themselves represented in the materials and connect to the content in authentic ways to become fully engaged. More than just their sense of self, they also learn about and understand their place in society, fostering a sense of belonging and acceptance in their community. The books and content students are exposed to in school can play a powerful role in identity formation. Authentic learning makes course concepts relevant to students so that they can retain the information at hand and pivot the knowledge to real-world situations. The last is different entry points, options for exploration, and end products are critical for student engagement and success. So there are 6 benefits of critical thinking. First is it encourages curiosity, then it enhances creativity. It reinforces problem-solving ability. It's a multi-faceted practice. It fosters independence. And last is it's a skill for life, not just learning. Next slide is the key traits, the content of varied content materials and methods of instruction. First is instructional materials and activities reflect the identities of learners in the community and the diversity of our world. So when working and learning with the people from a variety of backgrounds and cultures present in the classroom, students gain a more comprehensive understanding of the subject matter. It also teaches students how to use their own strengths and points of view to contribute in a diverse working environment. Teachers can include a diverse range of perspectives by introducing diverse authors or historical figures into teaching materials. This will help all students understand and appreciate diversity more. Next, content is selected and explored in ways that foster and reflect an understanding of multiple perspectives and critical issues. The subject matter content must be within the schema of the learners. It should be within their experiences. Teachers should apply theories and psychology of learning in order to know how subjects are presented, sequenced, and organized to maximize the learning capacity of the students. Teachers select materials for instructional activities to meet the needs of a variety of learners. So instructional materials are essential since they help the teacher and learners avoid overemphasis on recitation and rote learning that can easily dominate a lesson. So resource materials allow learners to have practical experience, which helps them to develop skills and concepts and to work in a variety of ways. So they hold the power to their engaged or demonstrative student. Teachers are best served when they utilize a variety of instructional strategies as opposed to one or two. So variety ensures that students are never bored. It also ensures that students will likely be exposed to strategies that align with their preferred individualized learning style. Students have choice in materials and topics in order to meet learning outcomes. So it allows freedom and power in the classroom. It provides students the autonomy to determine the route in which they want to go to learn new skills. They also determine which strategies they want to employ. Student choice allows students the opportunity to choose the materials and the resources they will utilize. Next is students make meaningful choices about their learning and are taught how to make those choices well. So making learning meaningful is important to children's understanding of the learning concepts and the world around them. Teachers make learning meaningful when they link new learning to children's previous experience. So relate concepts to children's lives and provide children with hands-on learning. Students learn new information in different ways: inquiry, investigation, presentations, and etc. Students learn by connecting new knowledge with knowledge and concepts that they already know, most effectively in active social classrooms where they negotiate understanding through interaction and varied approaches. Next is student groupings are flexible, varied, and intentionally matched to the activity and learners. So flexible grouping is at the heart of differentiated instruction. It provides opportunities for students to be part of many different groups based on their readiness, the interest, or learning style. So these groups may be homogeneous or the heterogeneous. They may be student selected or teacher selected. Next is students use a range of methods: differentiated homework, the reading activities, and supports including technology to advance their learning. So technology is a powerful ally for teachers, especially in measuring student learning. With the use of digital formative assessment, teachers can expedite their ability to provide student feedback in real time. Time and structures support reteaching and extension of learning as needed. So it is important to keep up with current trends in education since they determine what is currently accepted to be the best way to teach students. However, just like some fashion trends can be ridiculous passing fads, some trends in education may also change rapidly. So resources and materials improve accessibility for a variety of learners. So it incorporates interactive learning and motivates people to participate in lessons. So for students with disabilities, it provides information in a variety of different formats like through audio and video. So they need to access the variety of assistive technology to build their literacy skills. Then the assessments. So students have choices about how they demonstrate their learning. So student choice allows teachers to focus on small groups or individual students that may need extra assistance and the others are engaged in their own tasks. So students ask their own questions and assess their own learning. They are involved in inspiring, creating, and designing the process of knowledge. So students use multiple and varied pathways to reach common ends. So providing students with multiple means of perceiving, comprehending, and expressing their learning allows students to engage with the material in a way that most benefits them, and also encourages students to engage with material to improve in areas in which their skills are not as strong. Students use varied tools and supports including technology to demonstrate learning. So teachers are best served when they utilize a variety of instructional strategies. As opposed to one or two, variety ensures that students are never bored. It also ensures that students will likely to be exposed to strategies that align with their preferred individualized learning style. Different assessment methods allows you to assess different aspects of student learning. So having the right mix of method means that a number of different skills can be assessed. So assessment are relevant, authentic, and purposeful. So authentic Assessment attempt to demonstrate what student actually learns in class rather than students' ability to do well on traditional tests and quizzes. So authentic assessment do not have to be chosen over traditional assessment. The purpose of authentic assessment is to provide students with ample opportunity to engage in authentic tasks so as to develop, use, and extend their knowledge, higher order thinking skills, and other 21st century competencies. And that would be all my report. The next slide will be discussed by the second reporter. Thank you and God bless. Thank you for listening.